an opinion of somebody, and that was a retweet. I'll put it out there. People can decide for themselves. I don't take a position. You're not like some retweet. That was an opinion of somebody. Was an opinion of somebody. An opinion of somebody. Tweet. That was a.
Early in the morning, they went to the table with the black robe, the black shield, and they pulled out the vote.
Just a quick reminder that Joe Biden is the winner of the 2020 election. Donald Trump is a loser.
Even before you do that, and not even including that, that's why I hardly even included that number, although in one state we have a tremendous amount of dead people, so I don't know. I'm sure we do in Georgia, too. I'm sure we do in Georgia, too.
$7 million for reef fish management, $25 billion to combat Asian carp, $2.5 million to count the number of amberjack fish in the Gulf of Mexico.
The reason the market is doing what it's doing is people are sitting at home getting the checks from the government, okay? And this fair share is a bullshit concept. The concept is just a way of attacking wealthy people. The reason the concept is just a way of attacking wealthy people. It's just a way of attacking wealthy people. It's a way of attacking wealthy people, okay? And this fair share is a bullshit concept. Bullshit concept. Bullshit concept. Bullshit concept. It's just a way of attacking wealthy people. It's a way of attacking wealthy people. Attacking wealthy people. Attacking wealthy people. Okay? And this fair share is a bullshit concept.
Mr. Sam, if I could just get this sentence out. We can talk about Jimmy Dore can go and kill 15 kids tomorrow, and I still believe in force the vote.
What's the most important issue in the governor's race here in Virginia?
Teaching children, not teaching them critical race theory, critical race theory.
And what is critical race theory?
Specifics of it, but to the specifics of it that I don't much, but it's something that I don't, but because I don't understand it. I don't have that much knowledge on it. I don't have that much knowledge on it. I don't have that much knowledge on it.
And what is critical race theory?
I don't have that much knowledge on it.
That isn't what it meant.
Well, what did it mean then? Explain.
It meant that it's indicative of low-resolution thinking.
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day. Every day it is time for us to agree.
Brandon, I agree.
Something like that. They went out on some corporate news show and they said that I'm putting an accent on there. What the hell is this?
Everybody comes in your grandmother. Everybody comes in your grandmother. Everybody comes in your everybody comes in your grandmother, your grandmother, your father, your mother, your cousins. They come in so easily, so crazy. So comes in your grandmother, everybody comes in your grandmother, everybody comes in, everybody comes in, everybody comes in your grandmother, everybody comes in your grandmother, everybody comes in your grandmother, here.
It's not that they don't want to help. They don't know quite what to do. Play the radio. Make sure the make sure you have the record player on at night. The phone. Make sure the kids hear word.
In case you don't know, and you haven't seen the latest polls, the American people hold the President of the United States in contempt. They hold
Brandon, I agree.
In contempt. They hold the Republican Party in contempt. They hold the Democratic Party in contempt. They think that maybe, given all of the crises facing this country, it's about time that there was some bold leadership here and that this institution made some hard choices.
Get your words straight, Jack.
I liked beer. I still like beer. But I did not drink beer to the point of blacking out.
So notice something. I defended him on his bad joke because I have standards and I have principles.
Early in the morning, they went to the table with the black robe, the black shield, and they pulled out the votes. Those votes.
Hello, users, and welcome to another episodic installation of the Goddamn. I like saying goddamn. So we got a show here. I've got something. I don't know what it is exactly, but I do have something. So let me fuck. Yeah. Okay. Hello, users, and welcome to the Goddamn. And so I'm your host, the stupid ass bitch, and I'm here to do an internet show. I've got an internet show lined up. As you can see, my hair still a mess. As you can see, look at this. It's not. I'm getting there. I'm working on it, but it's still. It's getting better every day in some ways, and it's getting worse every day in other ways. But that's how the cookie crumbles, as they say. So, hopefully everyone enjoyed yesterday's program. I don't even remember doing yesterday's program because for y'all, yesterday's program was 24 hours ago. For me, it was 24 centuries ago. And that's because I consumed mushrooms yesterday and I had a pretty interesting experience. And I'll talk more about that later, but god damn, let me tell you. That I've got a show here lined up. I should do a remove the hair knots segment loo. What is a segment loo? So I've also got a shirt on, as you can tell. This is a hoodie. It's got strings attached. And so that's, there you go. Just commenting on my own appearance. Because that's the kind of comedy that I bring on this. If you can use coconut oil, it helps a lot. Indians use that in their hair all the time. I used that when I had long hair a lifetime ago. It's a long, long time. Coconut oil. Okay. I will do that. Running around in a chaotic fashion trying to pick up stuff for a small family birthday party in the middle of a pandemic, by the way. Amidst stressful family stuff, just all around stressful. Hoping it all pans out. Well, I hope so too, but I can't really help out from here. There's my hair necklace. I haven't seen it in a while. Sometimes I wear jewelry. Most of the time I don't. Because that involves putting it on, which I don't do, so. I've been watching the recorded version of your show. It's nice to see you live. Well, it's good to have you here. All right, it's good to have you here. Woo! All right, folks, so we got a show here lined up. I've got a show. Well, I've got, actually, I don't have anything, so let's scroll Google News. Let's see. I was not in the same universe as the rest of y'all yesterday. I pretty much took the entire day after my stream turned off. I pretty much took the entire day to did some shrooms, and it took me a while to get back into the world. So kind of didn't really do that yesterday. So I don't really know what happened. There's snow on the eastern seaboard, folks. There's snow. So that's cool. Let's see. All right, let's talk about this. I need a brush and some shea butter. I'm working on it. The thing is, think about it this way. It might not seem like it's getting better day to day, but just think, throughout the day, I'm fixing it, and then also I'm living my life. And so, when you live your life, your hair gets messed up. So it's like a net positive. There's lots of, it's getting worse and it's getting better, but it's getting slightly better as each day goes by. And that's the thing. That's the thing to remember. Remember. All right, folks. So we got a goddamn here. Here's the story. So I covered this a little bit ago. Sales soar for mouse after its banning in Tennessee. So a Tennessee school board decided, because they're intelligent, to ban the graphic novel Mouse by Art Spiegelman. I'm so sorry. I've not actually read Mouse, but maybe I would. Maybe I should. Maybe I'll do a live reading. I don't know. Probably not. But anyway, now what did this Tennessee school board ban it for? Because it has adult language. So we didn't ban it because it's about the Holocaust. No. We banned it because they said fuck. Right? It's not the Holocaust. It's not the people we support doing bad things and that's why we're banning it. No. It's because they said the fuck word. You can't say fuck. What's worse? Fuck or the Holocaust? Well, in Tennessee, in this particular school board, fuck is worse than the Holocaust. But anyway, let's continue. Let's actually start reading this. Just days after the banning of Mouse by a Tennessee school district made national news, 2 editions of Art Spiegelman's Pulitzer Prize-winning graphic novel about the Holocaust have reached top 20 on Amazon.com and are in limited supply. Mouse was number 12 on Amazon as early Friday morning and was not available for delivery until mid-February. Wow. The complete Mouse, which includes a second volume, was number 9 and out of stock. So there's the complete as well. There's a second edition. Neither book was in the top 1,000 at the beginning of the week. Earlier this week, the McMinn County School Board in Tennessee voted to remove Mouse due to inappropriate language. Oh no! They said the fuck word! And an illustration of a nude woman Oh no. According to minutes from a board meeting, Spiegelman's autobiographical book, winner of the Pulitzer in 1992, tells of his father's experiences as a Holocaust survivor. The board's decision came amid a wave of conservative-sponsored legislation and other actions to pull books from schools and other banned works, including Toni Morrison's The Bluest Eye and Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird. So again, folks, this is the party of free speech. This is the party that's against censorship. At least that's what they say. That's what their supporters say. When's the last time you've seen one of these free speech warriors that, someone asked me to use a gender pronoun that I'm not familiar with because I'm uneducated and illiterate. How dare they? My free speech is under attack. When's the last time you've heard one of these people talk about this? I mean, it's not gonna happen. And that's why, I personally, I'm a free speecher. I'm a goddamn free speecher. I like free speech. I like being able to say fuck and shit. I like being able to say cum, and bastard. That's speech that I believe personally. I very much so believe in that speech. So I'm a free speecher, and I personally think that the free speech stuff really needs to be re-embraced by the left. And I don't mean that in the cringy, like I say the N-word with my friends, kind of way. I mean that in the, when it really comes to censorship, where does censorship actually fucking, happen? It happens on people that are poor. They get censored. I mean, just look at the mainstream news. The mainstream news pretends poor people are like a statistic. When's the last time you've read a news article, that said, in the mainstream news that actually interviews poor people at length about their experiences with poverty? You don't. You don't. I'm sorry. That just doesn't happen. And so again, poor people get censored every day. When you don't get, picked for a job interview because you have crooked teeth, that's censorship, right? So, and that's again, free speech ultimately, what free speech requires is to abolish hierarchy, right? How come people that have rich parents or celebrity parents have more speech than people that are poor and don't have celebrity parents, right? So when I say I want free speech, I mean, I want to abolish hierarchy, motherfucker. Because again, think about, a lot of these cringy free speechers, right? They will use they will use the crux of, but free speech to defend people being racist. How is racism free speech, right? If you're making a joke, that's one thing, right? But if you are sincerely preaching that white people are they rule, man, that's not free speech, right? Because it's not free, it's not fair, right? The whole purpose of free speech is that everyone is treated fairly and under the same circumstances, right? So it's that's not really free speech. Now, again, am I saying that I would necessarily support someone being jailed for being a Nazi? I mean, there should be definitely some due process involved. Let's just put it that way. But anyway, really, ultimately, when it comes to censorship, it's the right wing that always censors the left wing. There is no such thing as left-wing censorship. It is a myth. It does not exist. I need to be very slow on that one. It does not exist. There is no left-wing censorship because the left has never had power. The left will never have power. At least probably not in my lifetime, right? But the left has never been in power in this country. The left has no shot at power in this country. And so there is no such thing as left-wing censorship. If you are afraid of being ridiculed because you don't properly use a gender pronoun in the way that people want you to, that's not you being censored. That's you having consequences for your actions. That's you purposefully going out of your way to be a jackass, loser, moron, and then, it's free speech for you, but not for everyone else calling you a jackass. And that needs to be understood. So I'm a huge free speecher. And again, it's the right that's always doing this stuff. It is the right that's always projecting, and they're always trying to muddy the waters. Why do you think the right has muddied the waters of free speech? When you hear the term free speech, when you hear the term censorship, why do you always immediately think of cringy right-wingers? It's because they want to muddy what those words mean. They want to muddy the terms. They want to muddy what, the First Amendment means, right? They don't support freedom of the press, but whenever they can, when Joe Biden calls Peter Doocy a son of a bitch or something, right? That's the biggest scandal in the world. But when Donald Trump, tries to has the CIA kill Julian Assange, crickets. They don't care about that, right? So again, it's always try to muddy the waters to get people to cringe at the idea of free speech. Because ultimately, what does that do? It makes you think, free speech is stupid. If these right-wing morons are advocating for it in such a stupid way, then free speech must be stupid. Wrong. And that's exactly what they're doing it for. So again, they will always project, they will always lie. And so fuck them in the face. That's what I have to say. Sam Cedar is censoring me. That's true. That is extremely true. We need to cancel Sam Cedar. I support free speech, except when it comes to Samuel Lincoln Cedar of the Sam Cedar Show. Oh my God. I am like, like my body, it just feels so good to be a human being. It really is. Montel Williams did a special interviewing homeless people on his show back in the early 2000s. Was like one episode though. I mean, yeah, like that's usually it's treated as like, ooh, look, let's check in on the poors, right? Kind of like entertainment for the rich and not entertainment for the poor, you know? Yep. How is everyone doing today? Apparently, there was a Trump rally in Texas. Is that true? I guess I missed that whole thing. Damn. That's crazy. Folks. Oh, my heart's beating. All right. Folks, I talk a lot on my show about, that's right, fiber, folks. Let's talk about fiber on this show. Eight high fiber foods the longest living people on the planet eat. Why do you think they're the longest living people? Huh? Why do you think they're because they eat fucking fiber, motherfucker. They eat goddamn fiber. That's why they're the longest motherfucking living people. Like, again, I've been telling you this. Like, for years. I mean, years at this point, I've been blabbing about fiber. Again, hashtag my fiber story. I used to have a lot of chronic health issues, and when I started eating high fibrous foods, vegetables every single day, a lot of my chronic health issues went away. Now, again, I'm not promising that that's going to happen for everyone. I'm relatively young, so, like, you know, that's a factor. But again, like, 95% of Americans do not meet the minimum daily recommended dose of fiber, or you know, like I think the USDA guidelines or whatever it is say you should eat 25 grams of fiber a day. Personally, my personal opinion, I think you should be eating 30 to 40 minimum per day. That's my opinion, my personal opinion. But either way, 95% of Americans get less than 25 grams of fiber per day. Now, you might be wondering, what's fiber? Vegetables. 95% of Americans don't know how to eat vegetables, and that's a problem. Now, again, a lot of people get upset when I criticize people's diets, but I don't want to go into that huge diatribe there. I've made other videos about that, or if you want to reach out to me, you know, I'm a poor person too, so it's not, you know, I'm not rich, you know, but there's a lot of myths about eating well. And why do those myths exist? It's to keep you eating poorly and to keep you complacent with killing yourself, because that's what bad food does to you. It's suicide just over a long period of time. It's like smoking cigarettes. But anyway, let's read this article here because this is extremely important information, because your health is the most important aspect of your life. You got to live, folks. You got to live healthy. Be a good motherfucking, like, think about it. 95% of Americans don't eat fucking fiber. How cool would it go around and say, like, yeah, I'm in the top 5 percentile of Americans when it comes to health? You wonder why there's so poor health outcomes in this country? It's because 95% of these motherfuckers don't eat vegetables. Eat your goddamn peas. Eat your goddamn broccoli. But anyway, let's keep going. If you want to live a long, healthy life, there's good evidence that getting enough fiber is key. Foods rich in fiber, including plenty of carbohydrates, are featured prominently in diets in the blue zones, areas of the world where people live the longest, healthiest lives according to research. Blue zones represent a wide variety of cuisines, like Japanese, Greek, Italian, and Costa Rican. While the specific foods vary, common high-fiber food groups like beans, nuts, whole grains, herbs, and green veggies make up the backbone of the blue zone diets. Now, again, this is something that needs to be understood, right? It does, like, there is a reason, right? There is a reason why really good foods are made in society to seem unattainable, right? There's myths that you need to be rich in order to eat well, or you need to spend hours of your day in order to cook your own, like healthy meals. Those are myths, right? The reason those myths are so popular is because countries thrive when, like, you know, the rich thrive when the population is sick, because when the population is sick, they're less likely to revolt. They're less likely to act out. They're more likely to go do their drone-like activities, be the cogs in the machine of capitalism, you know, do their work, go home, eat their chips, eat their ice cream, you know, smoke their cigarettes, and die before the age of 65, before Social Security kicks in, right? I need you to understand, right? There is a reason why there's so many myths and misinformation when it comes to healthy eating, and that reason is because capitalism. They want to keep you sick and they want to keep you complacent. When your body is sick, when you don't have the proper nutrients you need, your brain literally functions at a lower rate. There have been studies that have been done that people score higher on IQ tests if they have more healthy meals. If they eat more, people that are frequently hungry will score lower on IQ tests. How does that happen? It's because, again, your health is, like, your brain is an organ. If your liver isn't performing so well, if your lungs aren't performing so well, your brain's probably not going to be at peak performance. So eating well helps you live longer, not just in the physical sense, but it helps you live a very healthy, fruitful life in the mental sense. You're sharper, you're smarter, you're more logical, you're more rational, you can think things through more quickly. And again, there's a reason why countries like the United States of America do not want their population to be healthy. It's because they thrive on keeping us sick so they can sell us drugs, and they can sell us these pain products, they can sell us this garbage, and they can sell us the food itself that's causing these problems. It's all capitalistic behavior. And again, you can break free of that. It's very, very possible, and that's one of my goals. But anyway, let's keep reading. Research suggests getting enough fiber is important for digestive health, stable blood sugar, and prevention of chronic illnesses like heart disease and cancer. Foods rich in fiber can also help with weight loss by keeping you full after eating. To reap the benefits, the FDA recommends consuming around 28 grams of fiber per day, or between 21 to 38 grams depending on your overall calorie needs. So 28 grams, 21 is the minimum end of that. And again, that's the study. 95% don't reach the minimum. It's incredible. It's fucking incredible. Start adding more fiber to your diet by incorporating blue zone staples from cabbage and kale to bread and oatmeal. Nuts and seeds. Nuts and seeds have a bad reputation in the diet world for having a high calorie density. It's just a handful packing up to 200 calories, but they also provide a wealth of nutrients including plenty of fiber. I'm a huge fan of nuts. Beans are my staple. I try to eat beans every single day. This looks like an egg right here. Chickpeas, absolutely phenomenal. Beans are just, beans are great. Beans are gonna fucking do what you need. Beans are a superfood. Like, literally, I'm telling you, if you, if you get, the cheapest dried beans and you prepare, a fucking pot full, and, you just have, a scoop of beans in every one of your meal, it's gonna be, it's just good. I love beans. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and cabbage. Broccoli is fantastic. Cabbage is good. I recommend those. Whole grains like steel-cut oats and barley. I'm not a huge barley or oat fan. I'm going to be honest. Not much into grains. Maybe I should be more into grains, but I'm not much into grains. Bread is another stigmatized food in many diet circles, but experts say you shouldn't fear the loaf. Now, again, there's different kinds of breads. Not all bread is healthy for you, like enriched high fructose corn syrup infused like white bread. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about rich in fiber, rye bread. I consume rye bread sometimes. That kind of stuff. Root vegetables like sweet potatoes and yams. I mean, they're okay. Carrots, I like carrots. I'm a big carrot fan. Potatoes are not, potatoes are good for sure, but they're not the healthiest of those. Fruits are good. I'm getting into blueberries. I'm a blueberry fan now. Herbs and spices. You're going to want herbs and spices. It just makes your food taste better. It just makes healthy eating better. If you have a lot of herbs and spices, people always go oh, should poor people just learn to eat bland rice and beans every day? Yes, you should. I'm poor, and I've eaten rice and beans every day for weeks and weeks and weeks. Why? Because I put spices on that shit, motherfucker. I'm putting that powder on there. I'm putting the fucking flakes. I'm getting the fucking the fucking salts and the peppers and the fucking again, there's so many self-defeating thought loops that people go on to convince themselves that eating healthy is something that they shouldn't do. Herbs and spices go a long fucking way. Get some hot sauce on that bitch. That speeds up your metabolism. Capsaicin, the main ingredient that makes hot sauce hot, speeds up your fucking metabolism. 88% of Americans also have a form of metabolic syndrome, which is basically a fancy way to say they've got a really slow metabolism. You know how everyone was telling you in your childhood, oh, you've just got a slow metabolism. That person's just got a fast metabolism. It's not like it's a genetic thing. Yes, people can have genetic predispositions to having a slower, that's a whole thing, yes. But a metabolism is not you're not born with a fucking fast metabolism or a slow metabolism, right? That's you can fix a slow metabolism in a couple weeks of healthy eating. So that's just, I'm just throwing that out there. So there you go, folks. Get that shit, eat healthy. I'm going to be doing a cooking show at some point in the next, by March is what I wanted to have. March 1st is my deadline for the first episode of my newer cooking show. So I'm going to get into that. And so, just throwing that out there. So eat healthy, and if you're poor, I'm going to help you learn. So that's my goal. Taco Bell is the best of the fast food options. That's my opinion. Out of all the fast food chains, Taco Bell is the best. I have no reason to want to live a long life. I'm only a vegetarian because I like animals. I mean, that's a good reason. New Cooking with the Bitch episodes. That's correct. Reformatted and hotter and spicier than ever. I have been suicidal in my life at certain points. I understand the impulse to be suicidal, even if it's the long-term suicidal, having food addictions or smoking addiction, that kind of stuff. I get it. I changed my course. That's all I can tell you. I want to live as long as I possibly can. My goal is to make it to 100. That's the goal. People in my family made it to over 100, Most people in my family, live pretty long. Relatively, so I'm shooting for it. I'm going for it. I'm living for 100 goddamn years. I'm living for 100 goddamn years. And you're gonna have to put up with me that whole time, too. Y'all are gonna have to put up with my bitch ass, because you bet your sweet goddamn bippy I'm gonna be doing some fucking Above It All shows when I'm 97 years old. Like, you're gonna be seeing me like looking like Noam Chomsky, right? Like, I'm gonna be like, Above It All. Like, I'm gonna be doing Above It All, like, goddamn episode 24,973. And it's gonna be, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be a good ep. It's gonna be a real good fucking ep, let me tell you. A good goddamn ep. Good ass, goddamn ass ep. I don't want to live forever, but I don't want to die early. My opinion is, if I could live forever, I would. Not even a question. If I had an option of living forever, there is a 0% chance that I would ever choose to like have I want to live forever. I forgot how I was, I don't know. Hello, Steve Cox, Florida Marquise on YouTube. What is that? All right, I found a playlist. What? Major discovery in Antarctica. I don't know if this is what you're... My sister committed suicide at age 25. That's horrible. I am 25 currently. I've tried to kill myself probably like 5 or 6 times, something around there. You lose count after a while. And that was mostly like in between like 16 and 22. So, I've been there. All right, folks, let's get into the news. Majority of Americans are fucking morons, new poll says. So, a new ABC News Ipsos poll finds that a plurality of Americans view the Supreme Court as motivated by partisanship. A plurality? So that means less than 50%, presumably. What? What? The fact that it's not 100% is damning fucking evidence that this country is fucking stupid. Americans are fucking dumb. I swear to God, the average American is dumber than dog shit. Dumber than fucking shit on my shoes smeared on the fucking sidewalk. I swear to God. Now again, what's my evidence for that? Well, 63% of Americans believe in Jesus goddamn Christ. So didn't need I say more. But also again, let's read this poll. This is an extremely enlightening poll as to the stupidity of the average American in this country. The ABC News Ipsos poll, which was conducted by Ipsos in a partnership with ABC News using Ipsos Knowledge Panel, comes days after the most senior member of the Supreme Court, Justice Stephen G. Breyer, the ice cream man, announced his retirement at the end of blah, blah, blah. All right. During the spring 2020, blah, 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 days, blah, 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 blah. Now, with the chance to do so, just over 3/4 of Americans, 76%, want Biden to consider all possible nominees. This is in regards, he pledged to nominate the first black woman to the Supreme Court. 76% of Americans are literally saying all lives matter. 76% of Americans, all lives matter. That's what this poll says. This is a little like, this is like not even one step away. This is like this is the same step of all lives matter. 76% of the country said all lives matter. That's the headline of this poll. 76% of Americans are fucking racist, scumbag, dumb motherfuckers. All lives matter. Just 23% want him to automatically follow through in his history-making commitment that the White House seems keen on seeing through. Now, again, the presumption behind the all lives matter is that, well, obviously, there is going to be a white person that is better suited for the job than the smartest black person. Like, that's what that is. That's what that is. That is what that translates into. Is that, like there is an upper echelon of white elites that are smarter than the smartest black woman. That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. It's not that, like, I don't know, really, at the end of the day, all that matters is that they're, like, left-leaning, as left-leaning as possible. That's, at the end of the day, all that fucking matters, okay? Now, again, also, there could be worse black judges than white judges. There can be worse judges that are white than black. It's not, like, there is no, like, test you can take to determine who's the best judge possible. It's not like it's, like, a fucking, like, doing a sport or something, or you're running a 100-meter dash, right? Or, like, anything like that, right? It's vague. It doesn't really matter that much. So why not fucking pick a black woman? About goddamn fucking time. Again, this whole idea that, like, all lives matter. Affirmative action is bad because what about the white people? Like, I mean, are you fucking serious? Are you serious? Are you dumb? Are you a dumb bitch? Are you a stupid ass bitch? Are you a Looney Tune? Again, I need you to understand, the average American is a goddamn motherfucking goddamn idiot. They're dumb. They're dumb as fuck. They're so goddamn stupid, and I'm sick of it. I have to walk outside and see these people, like, you know, like they're driving fucking cars. You ever think about that? 76% of Americans said all lives matter in a poll, and they're out there driving cars in giant metal death machines. They're driving cars, motherfucker. They're like fucking, they're working at the water treatment plants, and they're thinking all lives matter. Can you think about how fucking stupid these motherfuckers are? Holy goddamn motherfuck. And so that's really all I have to say on that story. Obviously, Biden should pick a black woman for the Supreme Court, and I hope that they choose as left-wing of a justice as possible. You know, I mean, I'm not looking, you know, it's probably not going to be too great. It's probably going to be like a Kamala Harris scenario. If not Kamala herself, some people think Kamala might, you know, be the, you know, so we'll see. But anyway, the ice cream man is retiring, and 76% of Americans are goddamn fucking morons. Next. Folks, I would like to remind everyone that tomorrow is Monday, and tomorrow is also the last day of the month. And so I started a new series on my channel called A Doom A Day, where I've been uploading one Doom speedrun every day, and I'm planning on doing that every day of the year. And so every month, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a top 10 runs of the month stream. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick my 10 favorite runs that I uploaded this month in January, and then I'm going to do a stream where I watch them again with commentary. So, and also if you want to ask a question or whatever, it's like, you know, if you want to know more about, you know, speedrunning or Doom or whatever, or if you just want to like comment on the levels or the gameplay, or, you know, just talk about the game, whatever, that's going to be a live stream. It will be happening tomorrow after the Above It All show. So it'll be around 12, maybe 1. I don't know yet. You know, probably just end up doing it earlier. And so there you go. What does all lives matter mean? Is that what you're asking, Bodan? All lives matter basically means it's, so, you know, so first there's Black Lives Matter, which basically says black people are not treated fairly in this country, and they should be. Their lives matter. It's a very, you know, it's a very cut and dry statement, right? Like, it's not just white people that matter. It's all, you know, like, the whole purpose of Black Lives Matter is that all lives don't matter, right? So when someone says all lives matter in response to Black Lives Matter, That doesn't make any sense because it's clear based on the statistics and how society treats black people. It's clear that as far as the United States of America's society goes, as far as capitalism goes, black lives do not matter as much as white lives. That is factually true in regards to how the government and how society treats people of color, right? So the whole point of saying all lives matter is what you're saying when you say that is that racism is fake. There is no such thing as racism. That's really what that boils down to. Is that racism doesn't exist. And when you say that, when society is very clearly racist, that means what you're saying is society is fine. Society as it is, which is objectively and factually racist, is fine. That means that they don't believe that there should be any change. It means that they think that everything is just hunky-dory, which is obviously not true. The Good Place is fantastic. It's phenomenal. The first season of The Good Place it really is. The first season is excellent, right? Like I enjoyed 2, 3, and 4 as well. But the first season of The Good Place, it's really, really, really good. The plot is slow, right? And it's like slow, but like it like once you hit the ending, I was blown the fuck away. Personally, and it's also funny as well. Like there's a lot of like references to things that like if you don't understand it might not be funny, but if you get all the references, if you like understand all the references and what they're all talking about and you get all the metaphysical comedy and stuff, it's really it's great. The first season is great. 2, 3, and 4 also good. It's one of those things where it's like the big twist of season 1. Like, you can't do that again, really. Like, you know, it's just not, you can't do it again. So it's like 2, 3, and 4 is good. It's got the same characters, and they find, like, somewhat fun plot lines and stuff. So it's still good. I still like it, but season 1 is just great. Whew! All right, folks, I'm going to get into the segment that you've all been waiting for. It's going to be a filmographic review, as well as a trip report. So I'm just setting this up, folks. God damn. God damn. Yep, Bodan. I definitely remember that one. All right, folks. So, yesterday I had a pretty intense experience consuming fungus of the magical variety. And during that experience, I watched this movie, Beyond the Black Rainbow, the other movie by Panos Cosmatos. The other movie that this person made that I watched was Mandy with Nicolas Cage. These movies, Mandy and this one, are very similar. Now, for those of you that don't know, Nicolas Cage was like a fan of this movie, and that's why he wanted to do Mandy, this guy's second film. So again, I want to talk about the movie, and then I want to talk about how, the mushroom experience I had, because I don't honestly know how much of this video is going to be me reviewing this movie, because I don't know if what I was seeing was actually in the movie. It's difficult. It's difficult to explain. It's really difficult to explain, right? So I watched this movie in like the first half of the mushroom experience. So I think I started watching it maybe like 20 or 30 minutes in. So like by the time the movie starts playing, like I'm already kind of entering, the zone, as it were. So like this, I'm trying to describe this movie. I'm really trying to like piece together the plot line. And so this, now again, for those of you that don't know, why I watched this movie on shrooms is because I know Mandy, this guy's, other film with Nicolas Cage. I know that this guy does movies, they're shroom movies. I don't know what else. This is like a genre that isn't like, there's no list or anywhere, but this is a genre that I'm gonna create a list called shroom movies. This is a fucking shroom movie. So there's like a lot of like in this movie that doesn't really, like it's very artistic, like the musical expression, like the way that the scenes work, like the camera, the cinematography, the way the actors deliver their lines, the characters are, it's extremely fucking bizarre. It's extremely goddamn bizarre. And so like, again, I don't know how to even talk about this movie, because I don't even know if I even watched the movie. It was on. I was absorbing the information that was coming out of my screen and my speakers, but I don't know if that's the movie. I don't know. But so basically there's like a young woman who's like trapped in like some, spoilers by the way, who's trapped in some sort of like, I don't know, experiment, like, and something. And then you've got like a Carl Sagan looking motherfucker, who's like a therapist. And like he talks about how he takes like 9 drugs that like manufacture happiness in the world or something, and like they're all like weird like variations of psychedelics. And it's and then so like there's like it's just like a bunch of bizarre scenes. Like not much actually happens in the movie, right? But it's still like they have a lot of like moments in the movie where it's like a slow zoom in on like some crazy ass lights, and you're like, again, if you're watching this sober, you're probably go like, oh, this is boring. But if you're on drugs like I was, it was like, oh my fucking god, like you've got the fucking like, the Ethereum logo is popping out into your brain, right? Like it's crazy, right? So you've got like all these lights going on, the slow zoom ins, you've got like the guy dressed like Carl Sagan walking around, right? You've got these like really bizarre like scenes where there's like characters that are like, like on these, like they're like like there's this one scene where like a nurse or something is opening a file cabinet or something, and it's like I'm so stressed out because the music is like super fucking like incredibly like anxiety inducing, and like I'm on shrooms and I'm like, like it's kind of like it's crazy. I don't know, again, if this is like my personal experience versus the movie. I don't know if the like watching this movie would always elicit this kind of experience. I have no idea. Don't do drugs, folks. But again, like there's parts of this movie where I started like having like, symptoms commonly associated with a bad trip, right? Because the music was like, it's like slowly creeping. It's like daunting, it's scary, it's horrifying. And then like then the scene is over. Right. And then like there's a lot of like these sharp scene transitions. Right. So it'll go like the music is loud. Right. Like there's like a lot of like dialogue. The screen is like zooming in on something creepy. And then it's like, again, there's no transition. There's no fade. It's just, the audio is loud and then it stops. Like there's no fade out. It just stops and you're in a whole new area. And then I was like, oh, I'm fine again. It was really, it's, because it's a shroom movie. Right. Like the guy was obviously tripping on multiple drugs. Probably all at the same time, probably throughout the entire creative process. And so like, again, like it brings you into these kinds of like universes in your brain, and then it has these like transitions that just like really shift everything, and it's great. It's incredible. Is so fucking good. Now again, the plot of this movie, I don't quite understand it. So the main character, who's like the evil Carl Sagan therapist on drugs, right? There's this one scene in the movie where like he's having like a flashback of like when he like did LSD in the 60s as a kid or something, and like that scene, like I like again, like. When you are on shrooms, right, or any psychedelic, I assume, I've only done shrooms, but like, and I do them a lot, but like, like you experience time dilation, and that's something that this movie really kind of like is good at, right? Because like when there's like a 30-second like scene of like something like slowly zooming in or out or something, that 30-second scene is like 16 years, and like, you know, you're stuck in that scene as like you're there for a long time, right? And so like there's this like one scene, like kind of like maybe halfway, maybe a little bit later than halfway in the movie, where they like do like this like flashback scene or whatever, and it's like him doing drugs as a kid, and like it's super, like it's obviously fucking insane, it's crazy, and there's so many like, there's, you know, so many lights and like flashes, and it's like there's black and white portions, and it's like hard contrasts in the colors, and there's like it's a great movie. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know about this cover. The cover is kind of weird. It makes it look like it's kind of like a Friday the 13th style like slasher movie. It's not that at all. Like, it's not. The cover is like the most misleading thing I've ever seen in my life. And so, that's a thing. But again, so like I watched this movie for like, I finished the movie probably around like 2.5 hours throughout my experience. And so again, like I had like, I can't, it's hard to tell if the movie elicited this experience, you know, I don't know how to, right. So, you know, I've had a lot of anxiety, maybe, I guess, in my life over the last couple of weeks. You know, I don't talk about a lot of that stuff on my show because there's, you know, I'm experiencing life events that occur. Not all of them are great. And so, but like, so like throughout this movie, there's lots of the parts of the movie where like there's no dialogue, right? So like it allowed, like, you know, you're not focusing on words, or like you're not focusing on characters, right? So like my mind is like, you know, when you're experiencing, I definitely want to watch this movie sober. That's a good point, Catherine, in the chat. Watch it again more sober. I will at some point for sure. But so again, so, you know, when those scenes are happening, like my mind would like drift into like, you know, thinking about things that are going on in my life, right? Like, you know, over the last couple of weeks, the last like couple of years, and then all of a sudden, like I'm 5 years old again, right? So it's like, you know, like it allowed me to like really kind of like, and then like again, like there's the parts of the movie where like the music is starting to like get like very pounding, right? So the music is getting crazy, like the shit on screen is getting crazy, and I'm like starting to think about things that cause me anxiety, right? And then like again, those hard reset transition points, like they would snap me out of it, and then I'd be back in the movie, and I'd be like, you know, oh yeah, I guess these things don't matter. You know, like that, you know, it's I don't know, it was very interesting for me personally. And then after the movie, I was like playing with Max the dog for a little bit, and that was great. And then I just kind of, you know, I was just kind of thinking about a lot of stuff, and it was pretty great. You know, one of my things is I've had quite a few so-called bad trips, and this one definitely was very similar to a couple of them for quite a bit. And I as I always say, I think a bad trip is just a good trip that's, you know, it's bad while it's happening, but then afterwards, you're good. I mean, like I don't know, like that's what I kept focusing on, is like whatever is causing me intense anxiety, like ultimately I'm gonna be fine. And that's kind of like the message that I would keep resolving on. So, you know, it's definitely it was a very enlightening experience. I was definitely teetering on the edge of the gone zone, for sure. Which I would consider the gone zone. If you're a shroomer, the gone zone is when you are completely, like, your ego has dissolved entirely and you are like one with the universe. I call it the gone zone. I definitely did not achieve that exactly. You know, I didn't even do that much. Like my dose was not that high. It was less than a gram. But like for me, like I don't know. So like I was you know, yesterday's show. If you go back and watch yesterday's show, I was vaping on the legal weed like the whole morning, so I think that was also like a contributing factor. But either way, I was like teetering on the edge, like, you know, I was like under a big weighted blanket too, and it was super comfortable, and I was like, oh, I was so comfortable, and I was like, you know, it was I don't even know how to explain it, but I again don't know if it's the movie that elicited that reaction. I can't, you know, I think the movie definitely was like I like you know, sometimes when I do these experiences, I like having like a movie on, because it's like if I get too deep in my own head, there's something else there's some external stimuli that I can focus on, right? So it's like you know, if you get too scared or something, you can always look at the movie. And the movie was very good in the way of like, you know, having those like, you know, those big like reset points throughout the movie. Like, you know, it's like the movie was designed to be watched while under the influence of drugs, which I do not recommend doing. Drugs are bad for you. And so, you know, it was very interesting. It was a very good guide, I can say. But yeah, man, yesterday that was crazy. So I know I did a show yesterday and people commented on the show. You might have noticed I didn't edit any of the clips yesterday because I was so enthralled with the experience. I kind of just like unplugged for the rest of the day. I didn't really look at like anything at all. But anyway, goddamn, it was incredible. I mean, it was incredible. A great movie. Again, I don't even like the movie is good, but like especially on drugs. I don't know if you're watching it sober. I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, this is like I might as well just like be talking about any movie because I don't like about it. I would definitely. It was a good movie, so I enjoyed it. And if you like Mandy, this is the same guy who made Mandy. But this is their first film, so it's very good. Very much so enjoyable. Goddamn. I will check my Discord DMs at some point, I promise. I'm a little chilly right now. One of the things that was happening in my trip yesterday was like I was so cold, like throughout a lot of it. And I had this weighted blanket on, so I was like you know, shivering intensely, like as like I was having like the extreme anxiety portions of my experience. I was like shivering intensely and like holding the weighted blanket up, and like I couldn't feel my body because of the weight of the blanket, and it was like my body was like melting into the blanket, or like my body was the blanket, like I was the blanket, like I was like the being that, like, you know, my, like, instead of having like a body, it was like a head and a blanket, and that was my form, and I was pretty crazy. Pretty fucking crazy. It's pretty crazy. I don't know what it was. And now here I am. And I woke up, and now I'm doing a goddamn. I'm here once again. Woo! That was great, though. Yesterday was great. Yesterday's show was fun, too. I remember, like, I was reading the comments, and people were sending me messages. Like, this morning I was reading them. And that was super cool. Samira Khan on Twitter yesterday, counties that ban hallucinogens are based. It's actually unbased. In my opinion, like, you know, I have a lot of very big opinions, right? Like, I think fast food and processed food is one of the worst things that has ever happened to humanity ever. And the same, like, I think that, you know, capitalism is like the ultimate root of all evil. But like, if you want to go into more specific kinds of ways that capitalism corrupts society, I think fast food and processed food, like just food in general, food habits, I think that's number one on the worst thing possible. But I think a good, strong contender for number one, or definitely a healthy number two, would be the ban of drugs like mushrooms and LSD and weed. I personally, I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I don't, like, they're not for everyone, that's for sure. That's absolutely certain that they're not for everyone. But, like, I believe that these, like, I genuinely think that these compounds are, like, a fundamental part of the human experience. Like, I just, there's, it's so incredible. Like, I personally cannot imagine possibly at all where I would be right now if I didn't have access to these substances. And like, I mean, like if you look at the history of psychedelic drugs in this country, right? Again, they were banned during the height of scientific research. There were studies that were done, published, peer-reviewed, and confirmed that like LSD would help people combat alcoholism. People would be cured of addictions like alcoholism or cigarette smoking in studies in the 60s and in the 50s. Right, you see like the big counterculture in that time, and again, like it's very interesting that like these drugs are banned. When you look at what they were doing, and it's like it was very clear that the drugs were helping with a lot of problems, and the owners of this country, the owners of the world, the capitalists, the rich. Again, this goes back to the whole idea of 95% of Americans don't get enough fiber. They don't want a thinking, rational population of people that really want to be free. They want it's like like in the Matrix or whatever, where they're saying like if the world is too perfect, people think it's fake. They need a little bit of like they need to be depressed a little bit, they need to be anxious a little bit. But think about it though. That's not really true. But we're convinced in society. Like think about like the way people will explain away bad things. Like it is what it is. Or that's just how the world works. And it's like, what? Like people are conditioned to actually think that the insanity of capitalism is somehow like connected to the laws of physics. Like something like free market economics or is like gravity. Like it's like a foolproof like physical theory of the universe, and all of it's made up. Like war. What the hell is war? Okay, so you're telling me humans, because they disagree they don't actually disagree, it's just leaders that are disagreeing. So you're going to kill someone who's poor because their leader wanted what? Like what is war? Like are you kidding me, right? Like it's ridiculous, right? So it's like they don't, like the owners of this country and the capitalist class, they do not want a society of underlings and drones that are capable of accessing these compounds, and that's why they've been illegal for so long. Because they realized that, wait a second, there's actually something to this shit, and they were afraid. The homeless should be jailed for their benefit? Wait, what? You gotta send that to me. Send that to me, because that can't be true. Like, they may have said that, but there's no way Anna was like, oh, I agree. Like, maybe she should have pushed back, but it's like... Still... All isms are bars in a cage, and those who believe they are already free. I would agree with that statement. Also, thank you for the super chat, Hugo. I don't know if I said that. I read it, I think, but I don't know if I read it out loud. One of the things that is crazy about shrooms is when, like, the internal monologue, right, and what you say out loud, like, there's no longer a distinction. And what I mean by that, not necessarily that you are speaking, right? Like what you're thinking, because that doesn't happen. It sometimes happens to me, but not often. But it's like, the concept of there being thoughts versus speech, right? I can think, and then I can say something completely different, and you'll never know because that's my internal monologue. And if I don't speak, then but so when you're on drugs and those and that melts, right, and there's no difference between the two, it's pretty incredible, because then I'm thinking where are these words coming from? And also I don't believe in free will at all. I personally think that free will is a joke. And I think it's another one of these things that people invent to make themselves feel, better about. That's fine. But I personally don't believe in free will, right? So it's like for me, like when I'm on drugs, like, and I'm like thinking like, where are these words coming from, right? Like they're just coming from what's that's just coming from the world that I live in, right? Like, like every experience you have like constructs reality. There is no objective reality as far as we are concerned, right? And this is why there is no such thing as reality. Like everyone disagrees on reality, so therefore what's reality, right? So we're all just like the sum of our experiences, right? So it's like we experience events, we gain knowledge of the world, like on like what walking on the ground feels like, or how like buildings are constructed, or like how like society functions, like manners, and like this is all just like it's all subjective. Like if we were spawned in a completely different society, that would be normal, right? And that's how these things are normalized, right? Because people just adapt to horrible conditions. And so I sometimes get stuck on those. I didn't verbalize your super chat or react to it. Well, I did in my brain, so sometimes I forget the difference. That's why I started saying that. Yeah, I don't believe in the soul, though. I don't believe that there's anything extra to the experience that it is to be human. But that also does not mean I believe in the confines of the human experience, right? Yesterday I was blown away by the fact that arms exist. Like arms are just tools to when I usually don't eat before shrooms. I like to fast for 16 to 24 hours because it makes them hit way harder. Just a little tip. Don't do drugs, but if you do drugs and you fast, they will hit quicker and they will hit harder. So I'm just throwing that out there. But anyway, so I was eating around maybe 3.5 hours in, and I was thinking to myself my being able to perceive the world is really, I was like a floating head, right? And my body is just like a machine that I operate to just get around, right? So it's I was eating a tomato. I just had a tomato that I just took out of the fridge. I washed it off, and I was walking around the kitchen eating a tomato, and I was staring at this tomato, and I was staring at my hand, right? And I was so my hand is just a tool to bring this tomato into my body. And then I was imagining this tomato exists currently as a separate form, and then when I eat it, it's going to be absorbed by my body, and I will become this tomato. This tomato will be a part of me for the rest of my life. I was deep in it. Oh my God, I was so deep in it. It was great. There's uncertainty and there's consciousness, and free will is a name for the dynamic between those two things. I mean, sure. I am extremely scared of death. That's one of my big. Maybe that's, I don't know. It's weird, but having tried to kill myself before. I have been close to dying at points in my life. And so there's a little bit of a trauma response kind of a thing. So I don't know how to explain it too well, but I'm really afraid of death because now I want to live. I'm at the portion of my life where it's I want to live, right? So it's the idea of dying is extra scary because of that, I think. But I'm not sure. I'm constantly questioning whether or not if I've said something out loud. Oh yeah, for sure. What is Hugo saying? I'm just skimming over the soul is the essence. That's saying that's saying the fucking, I don't know, the vegetable is, it's just synonyms. That's like saying the floor is the ground. It's okay, the floor is the ground. What is the new information that we're gaining here? If you believe in a self that transcends the physical, then you believe in a soul. I don't. I believe in a self that transcends the physical. Well, let's define physical. I don't think that there's anything extra happening besides chemical reactions in my brain. So I guess I don't believe that consciousness can transcend the physical. I guess. Because I do think that they're all just chemical reactions in my brain. But that said, like the physical, in my opinion, like I would say looking at the world around you and interacting with the world is different from being completely in your own world. And especially, when I've gone into the gone zone, as I say, on shrooms, right? Like there is no, my eyes can be open, but I'm not in the world that my eyes would be seeing. Like the sensory information that my eyes should be receiving are not being interpreted by my consciousness. I'm not seeing anything, and I'm not even it's not like my eyes are closed. You know, when you close your eyes, right? You're not seeing things, but you're really just seeing your eyelids, right? So I'm talking about you don't even see your eyelids. There's no such thing as sight, right? There's that the sense is completely eroded in your brain, and you're just you're not even in your consciousness or ego, because your ego doesn't exist anymore. You were just like a being that it's really hard to describe. So, but that's all a physical experience in the physics, sense. I don't think I'm going to another dimension. I don't think that I don't think that I even exist. What I am, my identity, is a construction of a certain part of my brain that creates my identity. It's based on the experiences I have. It's based on the way my brain was developed, and how the experiences shaped my brain, and how the neurons and synapses and the spines connect to each other and form pathways. That's really what I am. To me, when I experience ego dissolution, it's just kind of all the parts of my brain that construct identity are turned off. When you look at the science behind, I recommend watching. There's a good series called The Mind Explained, and they talk about the science behind psychedelics a little bit in one episode. When you look at the science, there's a part of your brain called the default modal network or something, and that constructs your identity. That's where when you're meeting a new person and you say, "Hi, I like Max the dog, I like to drink coffee," right? That part of your identity is controlled by that network of your brain, right? So in that network of your brain is heavily muted when you're on psychedelics, right? So that's what creates ego dissolution. To me, I don't think that my mind is going to another dimension or anything. It's just that what constitutes experiencing something versus being a person, I am Andrea experiencing this, versus just experience. It's difficult to explain, obviously, right? But there's something about you that's beyond the body you were born in. Why? I don't understand what that means. Unobserved existence. Exactly what is a soul? It doesn't exist. What seem like? Do they exist? And why do they? Yeah, the soul is one of those things where okay, it exists. So what? There's no proof for it. It's like God. Okay, there's God, and what does God do? Oh, he does nothing. Well, does God watch over us and help us out? No. Some people will say yes, but there's no way to prove it. So, okay, does God talk to us? No. So what is God? Well, God's nothing. It's the same with the soul. You can't prove it, and even if you did prove it, doesn't matter. You gain no information from proving it, so it's okay. There's a soul, there's no soul. The conclusion, the experience is exactly the same. So silly. Hello, Maxie. Hello. Gotta Max the dog here. There is proof of the soul. There is proof the soul exists. You are proof. I don't think so. Self-consciousness as an emergent property of the physical, not the other way around? Sure, absolutely. You watched that yesterday, what, the Mind Explained? It's a good series. I like all their episodes. I'm happy to hear you want to live. I need my daily fiber reminder. And who won the reminder? Joe Biden is the winner of the 2020 election. Donald Trump is the loser. I have to say that. Even like that's the thing with YouTube, right? The algorithm, man, it's crazy. Like even like they will literally try to tell you what you believe based on how a robot interprets like words. Like it's incredible. It really is. And like that's normal. Like there are people that exist in that world of algorithms, and that's not just like on YouTube. It's like the whole world is like society is constructed by algorithms. Capitalism is an algorithm. How your workplace functions is an algorithm. Right? So people just think, oh, it's just all normal. Meaning is use. What's the use of a soul? None, therefore it's meaningless. I can agree with that. That's what I think I was trying to get to. Maybe we live in the instincts of those having interacted with us. I can say what a deceased relative would do regarding a concept. I agree with that. You know, I have had a lot of people in my family that, you know, like are dead, right? So it's like, you know, sometimes I think, wow, I would love to talk to like, you know, someone in my family who's dead about what I'm experiencing right now, right? And then it's like, you know, I can't do that, but like I could think about it. I could think about how they would respond. I could think about how they would react. I could think if they would be happy for me, right? And like really, you know, it's all you need. I don't think the shroom trips are just chemical reactions. I mean, they are chemical reactions, right? Is it possible that the chemicals reacting create something, like it's like fire, right? Like, you know, they create something new and that's like the soul, or is that like that? It's that, you know, it's possible, but also how do you prove it? You know, like what does it mean if it's proven? What does it mean to prove it, you know? What's the point of becoming one with the universe? It's cool. It's an experience. Like, there's no point in anything. Like, I don't believe there's a point in anything. Right? Like, so if there's no point in everything, that means basically you get to, like, value is completely subjective. Right? If you don't find it to be valuable going into the shroom gone zone, then don't do it. That's great. Personally, I found some pretty cool stuff there. And it's helped me in my waking life. Like when you think about it, like this life is just like, you know, this is just the in-between. Like what if the shroom trip is actually the real experience? Like what if that's reality? What if being inside the mushroom, you know, is the real world, and this is like dreaming, like how we interpret dreams, right? Like, what if this is just the ways for our brains to achieve, you know, what needs to be achieved, you know, in the brain in order to go into the mushroom worlds? I think about that. Well, it's also probably because I do shrooms a lot, so I'm constantly going there. Coming back, and I'm going back in. Wait, so two people can have the same soul? Okay, I mean, if two people can be the same soul, that opens up this conversation quite a bit, I think. Now, here's a question, folks. Now, I'm just asking y'all just for my own ego. What other YouTube, person do you follow that you would be able to have this conversation with? Like, let's be honest. Like, let's be real. This is a cool stream. Let's all sit back and talk about how great I am. Can we get the Pelosi clap in here? Come on, y'all. Like, this is like, are you seeing this on the Majority Report? No. Are you seeing this anywhere else? No. It's not going to happen, right? It's impossible because they're lame and I'm cool. So, sorry about your luck. I don't know what to tell you. Matt Dillahunty, TBH. I don't know who that is, so. We are just robots with chemistry, given what y'all are saying. That's what I agree, yeah. Philosophical Investigations by Wittgenstein. It's quite accessible, okay. This motherfucker is talking about Aristotle in the chat. Jeez. Yeah, how great is it to be able to do whatever the fuck you want? At least Andrea admitted it. I mean, I wouldn't say I admitted anything. Admit it sounds like it's like there's like a guilt. It's like, yeah, I admitted that I stole, from the pickle jar. I eat a lot of pickles, folks. I'm a pickle fiend. Somebody would say I'm a pickle hound. I can't get enough fucking pickles. I remember I had a pickle yesterday on my shroom trip, like 4 hours in, and it was like it was like a Muslim going to Mecca, right? It was a spiritual experience for me having that goddamn pickle. Goddamn. But I'm not admitting that it's just that's what it is. Like, our sense of self is a complete construction. Really, I mean, the sense of self is an accident. It's like, evolution created beings that accidentally had the ability to perceive themselves and act on those impulses to create language, to write things down, to create cultures, to create it's just an accident. Like, really what, like the evolution of us was just like, really ultimately it's just like, we wanted there to be more of us, right? And then we wanted to help each other. And that's how we created societies, delegated labor, that kind of stuff, which happens without the consciousness that humans have, right? Like, there's other animal species that have those things. And it just happens that a bunch of accidental things occurred. Some people say, and I personally, hey, I'm a believer in some capacity, right? That, some people say that early humans had access to magic mushrooms, especially given the fact that there's a lot of ancient cultures they're very heavily mushroom based. There's cave paintings based on mushrooms, eating mushrooms, and there's rituals that were are discovered in ancient cultures based around using mushrooms. And so some people say that many people say that the mushroom potentially is what could have maybe gave way to such a thing in the first place. I mean, think about it, right? It's interesting. But it's all completely accidental. Like, and also, how do Max the dog doesn't have a consciousness? What if Max the dog is a fully intelligent being, but they can't externalize that, they can't speak, their vocal cords are constructed in a way where they can't speak, and also they don't understand English, but they have their own fully developed way of it's just who are we to gauge what's intelligent life, what's conscious life? I think personally everything has a consciousness of some kind. Like Max the dog, he's sleeping on the bed. Yay, Max! All right, folks, I think the show is going to be over. Wait for it. All right, yes, the show is over. Fantastic Fungi. Oh, absolutely. I watched that on, I don't know, I think I watched it on Shrooms before. Yeah, very good, very good. and talk about the theory of mushrooms and our ancestors. Yes, I could talk about that a lot more. So maybe ask me next time I talk about shrooms, or just whenever, because I talk about them all the time. But ask me later. I could talk about that a lot. But I'm gonna get the hell out of here. I'm gonna upload yesterday's segments that I did, because I didn't do any editing and clipping yesterday, because I went right into the mushroom when the show was over. So I'm gonna do that, post all that shit. You'll see it, folks. You'll see it. You'll see it being whatever I want you to see. And so shrooms are a spiritual experience. I agree. Personally, like, again, I think that it's like I would treat it as like a rite of passage. Like, I think it's something that every human should have the ability and option of doing so if they choose. I think it's something that's can't even. Anyway, I'm out. Bye.
Actually a small piece of the universe, right? The world is actually a small piece of the universe, right? The world is actually a small piece of the universe. The world is actually a small piece of the universe, right?
Seriously, hot sauce. I've been eating a lot of hot sauce, a lot of raw peppers and hot sauce.
The reason the market is doing what it's doing is people are sitting at home getting the checks from the government, okay? And this fair share is a bullshit concept. And bullshit concept. Shit concept.
Everybody comes in your grandmother ear.
I eat extra sharp. That's what I eat.
Everybody comes in your grandmother ear.